I think that showing your kids that you're still learning, and that you're interested in knowing more about these plants is more important than simply being able to identify them. When I took a class a couple months ago with Samuel Thayer. He's like a very well-known forager. He owns an orchard. He's written 3 books, and he just travels talking to people about foraging for food. And it was so interesting when we did our introductions. Everybody had to say how long they've been foraging, and what they thought their experience level was. And I was the only one there that was basically like, I've eaten some sorrel, and that's about it. I had 0 foraging experience. Everybody else had at least some. But when it came Sam's turn to share, what he actually talked about, instead of how much he knew, was how much he was still learning, and how excited he still was about learning new things. And so that was like mind-boggling for me, because it made me more comfortable coming into an environment like that, not knowing anything. Like when you see the leader of this group, someone that is at the top of his field, knows more than 99% of people on earth about the plants that are here. Like when you see that person saying, I still have so much more to learn and I love learning it, so much more impactful, than coming in there and saying, oh, I know all about these woodlands, and you'll learn someday, and you need to be really careful, you need to do A, B, C, D, and E. Like, it creates a completely different environment. So what I would say is that it's important to know some things about some of the things in your environment. Maybe for when the kids ask, or maybe just so that you can show the kids that you've learned these things and that you're excited about them. But more important than that is maybe having some resource books on file, or at your site, maybe, explaining to the kids that, like, if they ask a question, letting them know that you don't know it, and then going through that process of learning it with them. It's a much more community-based type of learning. It's much more authentic, in my opinion. And it's also a lot less intimidating, because this is a woodland that's fairly new to me as well. I've only lived there for 8 months, and so it gets to be exciting for me instead of overwhelming, knowing that I don't have to know all of the things, and that I am not my kids' primary source for information, and hopefully I'm going to be teaching them how to find out information if they want it, and how to get excited about learning, instead of just the facts.